Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Aqueduct Racetrack here on Friday. It is the 27th of October 2023. Gonna look at the stakes action on the program, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Great card today from Aqueduct. We're gonna look at the three stakes races. Two of them are on turf. One of them is a very good dirt sprint, which is the local prep race for the fall high weight handicap coming up in about a month's time. So let's look at these races, all conveniently packed in an all stakes pick three. So races 6, 7, and 8. Going to be another warm day. Might hit 80 degrees today here in New York City, so that's going to be good. So the sixth race, it is the Chelsey Flowe Stakes, going for a $135,000 purse. Race for 2-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 13 horses entered. 11, 12, 13 are AEs. 10 could go. 1,700 meters or mile 16th on the inner turf course. Going to take the 10 horse Gaeva as a top selection. 10-8-2-5 for me in the superfecta. 10-8-2-5 super top selection 10 horse Gaeva. This 2-year-old filly by Glen Eagles here. Alstall Jr. trains. Jose Ortiz gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 29th of September at Churchill, a mile on the turf course, an allowance race 100,000, and he won by a head that day. He had a very wide post drop, but he got over to get some decent position. It wasn't the best position, but it was better than being 9 wide around the turn, and he stalked all the way around the race course. When he got to the lead, he quickened up nicely, and he grinded it out to the wire. First start, just under 2-1. I thought it was a very good effort. Refreshing stakes quality horses. Gonna have to overcome a wide poster here today, but I think there's a bit of more of a run here to the first turn than there was at what do you call that, at Churchill last time out. And I think with the extra run, he should get a good trip and win. He's bred for the mile through and through. That was his first start stateside. 2 months prior, he ran Chantilly in France. 16th of July, 7 furlongs fast ground in a 2-year-old main race. When the ground is fast in France, that means it's rock hard fast. There's somewhere, if I could find it, I'll put the link in the description, but don't count on it, of the French going descriptions. Like, heavy there is completely different than heavy in the UK and what we would call heavy or soft ground here in the States. It's completely, it's a good article where I could find it, if I can find it. But on that rock hard fast turf course, he won by a nose that day, and he closed up from nowhere. That was a very, very good race. They were flying that day also for the time. But coming here, training well, Churchill, should definitely get the trip. I like him a lot, and I want to keep him in my notebook. I think the 8 horse Latte Lizzie for Chad Brown and Ira Ortiz can win. Most recently, the Juvenile Philly Stakes in Kentucky Downs over the mile on that quirky course. He finished third by 3.5 lengths. He moved a little bit late, but it wasn't anything to call home about. I think to a leveler playing field, staying a little closer, he could definitely get the trip. Prior to that, in the main special at Saratoga, mile 16th, 13th of August, he finished third by 3.5 lengths that day, and he kind of interfered with that day. What can you do? It just wasn't the quirkiest, wasn't his day to win. He had a quirky trip, but he's definitely improved with the Kentucky Downs race. Still main, but coming here today at 7-2, I'm going to use him. So to recap my selection for the 6 from Aqueduct, it's the Chelsey Flowe. Going to take the 10 horse Gaeva. Give kudos to the 8 horse Latte Lizzie. 10-8-2-5 super. 10-8 in your multi-race. The 7th race, rescheduled race from last weekend, it is the Athenia Stakes. It's going for a $150,000 purse. Race for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses in the Athenia, going 1,800 meters or mile and 1/8 on the turf course. Gonna take here the number 4 horse Bucci as a top selection. I'm gonna go 4-5-6-3 in the superfecta. 4-5-6-3 super. Top selection 4 is Bocacci. This 4-year-old filly by Lamato. Chad Brown trains. Manny Franco gets the mount. Horse's most recent outing came 2nd of September at Monmouth, the mile 16th in the Violet, and the horse went by 3.25 lengths that day and had a dream trip. He wanted to go, but Nick Juarez really got the horse into a dream settling trip to the half, and when he got to the front end, he kept going. Not the world's toughest Violet, but it was a very good run for this horse. Jumped up a lot of buyers in 92. That 92 could definitely win against these horses, sitting forwardly paced on the very wide turf course, well, with the wide rails out. Not a lot of ground you have to maneuver with, but I think this horse could get a good trip and find the winner's circle here today. 2 back at Saratoga, mile 16th, 27th July, and allowance up 62 claimer. He finished second by a neck that day, and he was a little bit wide. He had the lead from a tracking trip. He got caught late. What can you do? Just not 100% cranked. First start in 2 months. He probably needed the race. And then late May at Belmont, mile 16th on the inner and allowance race 9,2000. He won by a nose that day. Again, he wanted to go, but I ran out of his, a hold on the horse that day. When he got to the front end, he lasted. It was a very, very good race for it being his first start in nearly 10 months. He was running in the in France last year, and he was running in the Oaks races. He actually ran in the French Oaks last year behind Nashawa and finished ninth, never really running a bit. Came back to win Prix de Psyche at Deauville in August of 2022, where he had a decent turn of foot early on, but then kind of hit the wall late. But those are, if you look at some of those horses he's been facing, those are tough horses. Not nearly as tough as today. Should get a good trip. I'll use him on the ticket. I think the 5-horse Miss Daiquiris can win also for Niels Drysdale and Dylan Davis. The win two backs and the Dan Smartley was a very nice victory. Ran here last November in the Forever Together and won by a length on the front end, quite nicely. And won here in October last year also quite nicely. Likes this turf course. Last time out on the Canadian, just saw a bit of a too tough trip. But if she could slow it down on the front end, she could win 8-1. She likes New York. Let's use her here. But to recount my selection for the 7 from Aqueduct, now it's the Athenia. Gonna take the 4-horse Bro Catchy. Give kudos to the 5-horse Miss Daiquiri. 4-5-6-3 Super. 4-5 in your multi-race. The featured 8th race now from the Big A. Belmont, the Big A. It is the Boulder Ruler Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a $200,000 purse race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 9 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs in this year's Boulder Ruler. This year they it decreased the distance of the Boulder Ruler. It used to always be 7 furlongs in what I remember in the last many years. This year they cut it back to 6. And now it's kind of a fall high weight handicap prep race, and they created a new race which was a replacement for the Kelso. Tomorrow they're going to run the inaugural 49er Stakes, which is a good cigar mile prep race. This race used to be kind of the cigar mile prep race, and wouldn't surprise me if some of these horses actually end up in the cigar mile this year, which is great too. But that's for another rant, another day. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the 1-horse Stage Left. I'm going to go 1695 in the superfecta. 1695 Super, top selection, 1-horse Stage Left. 7-year-old gelding by Congrats here. Dave Jacobson trains. Isaac Castillo gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came down in Baltimore, Pimlico, 6 furlongs in the light diffuse, and the horse finished third by 4 3/4 lengths that day. He just kind of stalked all the way around the race course and really couldn't get the good turn of foot. The winner, Dollar Terzation, really ran a terrific race to go off, but this horse wasn't getting into him. It was also a quick turnaround. He ran, 10 days prior, 2 weeks prior in the Monmouth, 5 furlongs in Rumson. He was flying on the front and winning by a length in 57-4 with an 89 Beyer. That was a very good race there. And then mid-July at Delaware, 6 furlongs, optional 50. He won by 4.5 lengths that day. And again, on the front end, he showed good potential. Biggest question with him, sometimes when he doesn't run with Lasix, I've noticed he doesn't really show up. But when he gets to Lasix, he shows up. But, coming here, he has some speed. He likes this track. He only has 1 victory over this track, but he has some very good places here also. I'm going to give him a shot here on the ticket. I think the 6-horse here, Twisted Ride, can win. Most recently ran a few weeks ago in the Maryland Million Sprint at Laurel over the 6, where he finished second by 5 lengths, and he had a terrible trip down the backstretch, which cost him. Prior to that, he ran in that Rumson at Monmouth over the 5, where he finished third by 1 1/4 lengths, completely hitting the wall from that wicked pace on the front end. And then won the Banjo Picker prior to that at Parks off the quick turnaround, going 6. A very easy race. Coming off a quick turnaround here again today. He's had a decent race in the Run Happy earlier this season in New York. I'm going to give this horse a shot. These Park shippers, they will run decent races at times here at Aqueduct, but then they'll also throw clunkers in. But at 8-1, I'm going to give him a shot here to possibly upset. But to recount my selection for the 8th from Aqueduct now, it's the Boulder Ruler. Going to take the 1-horse Stage Left. Give kudos to the 6-horse Twisted Ride. 1695 Super. 1-6 in your multi-race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.